Greetings everyone, I'm Bhawana Shrestha with Lina, Gurung and Dr. Rajbhashi presenting on the conference Education in Crisis Conference 2021 on the topic Students' Perspective on Gender Inclusive Practices in Teacher Education Graduate Programs of a Nepali University. Inclusion in education means an individual's right to belong and participate in the educational system without any negotiation. It helps to identify different barriers for different genders to access quality outcomes in learning and bridging the gender gaps by ensuring that the teaching learning process is designed and delivered in ways that will allow equal opportunities, equal advantages, and equal outcomes. Due to the gender hierarchical influence in society, higher education also filters the curriculum and sees it with patriarchal eyes without questioning. So for this case of a study, Kathmandu University School of Education has been taken with the rationale of understanding gender inclusion in curriculum for students' perspective at Kusur, identifying the inclusion of gender in curriculum content, pedagogical practices, assessment and research and organizational provisions, and to address the SDG 4 and SDG 5 to ensure quality education and gender equality. The quantitative survey method was done to collect the factual data from the inclusion of gender in the curriculum and the pedagogy, while FDGs were taken to collect the narrative expressions of students about their feelings, experiences, and perspectives about the inclusion of gender in the teaching learning process, as well as their personal lives. The analysis was done with 106 responses, which had 56.6% male and 43.4% female. And the responses were from all the 4 departments of Kathmandu University School of Education, that is Leadership and Management, English Language Education, Mathematics Education, and Masters in Sustainable Development.
Okay, that's the first analytical theme that we have in this paper is about gender inclusion in the content. So from the survey, we have found out that most of the students, they have perceived that gender inclusion is very, very important in their course. However, only 47% of them reported that they were very less gender-related courses, content in their courses. 84% of the students said that the gender issues were discussed in the classes in few courses only. So and some of the students, they said that gender was not a part of the content in their subject. They had to do the self-study about this, about gender. And one of the students shared that his teacher in mathematics education mentioned the discourses of female discourses that if females were good in mathematics. And the other student shared that in my class, there are more female students, so the teachers are indirectly forced to bring the perspectives of gender sometimes only. And the next analytical theme for the paper is gender inclusion in pedagogical practices. In pedagogical practices, we have asked the students how comfortable they feel about sharing their views with the teachers. And 83.5% they said that they were comfortable sharing their views, and the teachers were quite liberal in welcoming the students' new ideas in the classroom discussion, and 65.7 students also reported that teachers, they encourage them to discuss the gender issues critically in the classroom. Majority of the students, they believe that they have found that their teacher used the gender neutral languages in the classroom. However, 53.1% of the students said that their teacher reflect on the gender sensitive issues. So the next analytical theme of this paper is about research and assessments. So nearly half of the students reported that their teacher encouraged them to write theses on gender issues. And the other half, they said that they have not included the gender, any kind of gender element in their research work. So 5.7% of the students said that they had prepared proposals on gender, but were rejected by their teachers. So still, there are some teachers who do not prefer the students to do the research in gender issues. So, most of the students, they did not feel that, they get support for gender-related research. So the next analytical chapter for the paper paper is about gender inclusion in organizational provisions, because these organizational provisions is also very, very important for the gender inclusion in the university, not only in the content, but the other administrative or the practical issues as well. When we talk about the data, the student has said that they have very few female students in the batch, and the ratio was about 1:15. The other student shared that I have seen my female friends facing problems of attendance and concentration due to their female responsibilities.
The content was around the gender issue that we investigated in the CUSUD was based on content, pedagogy, research, and organizational provision. Usually in the higher education, teaching is usually subject-centric, and that is also a norm in at CUSUD. And the data also shows that the current practice, there is a problem of gender inclusiveness in the curriculum of this institution as well. And we also did a small research, and it also showed that at CUSUD, and that's so that teachers have the autonomy of selecting the reading materials and even add to the content, but the textbook as teaching and learning material are not gender inclusiveness in terms of content at CUSUD. In pedagogical practices, we noticed that the data also shows the same, that there is gender, the students are encouraged to talk about and discuss the gender in the classroom, but as West and Zimmerman suggested that doing gender has become a norm, and doing gender is done in the classroom during discussion and while choosing the learning material as well. And here, one of the students also mentioned that there is domination by the male students. What happens is that when there is domination by the homogeneous group, it is very difficult to break that norm, and we need to have the diversity of the students, not only the student as well as diversity in the faculty to break this normacy. Regarding organizational provision, we found that male teachers have adopted gender balanced pedagogy, but there is less number of female faculty at CUSUD, which leads to lack of female role model in the organization. With less females in higher institutions, the females also felt that they are like outsider in academia, and their voices and experiences are silenced by patriarchal discourse, which was also, we also faced a similar kind of result, and Futaki also says the same. And females are kept as outsider in organization, and males take the lead for the reproduction of the male norms in the policy making, and which is also the same condition at in case of CUSUD. Over to you, Lina ma'am.
Okay, so in conclusion, we would like to say that there is very limited practices regarding gender inclusiveness in the university. And though there are gender sensitive teachers, they are neutral in fostering critical gender discussion in classroom, incorporating gender in course contents, and encouraging for more research in gender. The university policy is not prompting gender balance among teaching faculties. The efforts are very minimal. According to the students' perspective, the gender inclusive practices in the university is very limited. Moving on to the recommendations, we would like to recommend that it's very essential to revisit the courses from the perspective of gender and incorporate the relevant gender issues which has been overlooked. The gender-friendly pedagogy should be considered with priority by the teachers. The research work and paper writing from gender perspective should be highly encouraged, either through teachers accepting the gender-related proposals or universities providing grants in gender-related areas. The university should have a clear gender policy to promote the gender inclusive practices. We should begin with considering more female faculties in their programs. Thank you very much.
Thank you.